Who comes to mind when you think of the greatest scorers of all time? Think of Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, and LeBron James in today's era. Wilt Chamberlain was on a different frequency back then. Chamberlain, the only man to score 100 points in a single game, was a man among boys in the 1960s. Looking back, it's unlikely that anyone will ever be able to match his achievements. Chamberlain is still regarded as one of the greatest scorers and rebounders of all time. When he retired, he left behind a slew of league records, some of which still stand today. While scoring 35 points per game may seem impressive, consider scoring 50 points per night. Chamberlain did that in just one season. It's simply one of his many remarkable achievements, Wilt Chamberlain's insane stats that will never be broken. During the 1960 NBA season, he averaged 37.6 points per game. Chamberlain averaged 36.7 points and 27 rebounds in his rookie season. In only 56 games, he scored 2,102 points, breaking Bob Pettit's regular season record. Pettit needed 72 games to break the record, but Chamberlain only needed 16. This season, Chamberlain set 8 records and was named MVP and Rookie of the Year. With a 23-point, 25-rebound performance for the East, Chamberlain closed off his first season by winning the All-Star Game MVP as well. As the season went, we discovered that Chamberlain was a poor free throw shooter, but an irresistible force in the paint. During the 1961 NBA season, he averaged 38.4 points per game. Chamberlain started the season with 42 points and 31 rebounds against the Syracuse Nationals and didn't look back since. On November 24, 1960, against Bill Russell and the Boston Celtics, Chamberlain set an NBA record with 55 rebounds. 5 days later, he led the Lakers to a 122-121 victory with 44 points and 38 rebounds. Chamberlain was the first player to reach the 3,000-point plateau. He's still the only player in NBA history to have more than 2,000 rebounds in a single season. He established the record for rebounds in a game and won his first field goal percentage crown. By the end of the season, Chamberlain had scored 32% of his team's points and grabbed 30.4% of its rebounds. Next up, 50.4 points per game in the 1962 NBA season. He averaged 50.4 points and 25.7 rebounds per game in his third season. On March 2, 1962, he scored 100 points by shooting 36 of 63 from the field. In that game, he made 28 of 32 free throws. Chamberlain's 4,029 points made him the only player in NBA history to eclipse the 4,000-point plateau in a single season. Michael Jordan in 1986-87 was the only other player to score over 3,000 points in a season. Chamberlain also had 2,000 rebounds and played 48.5 minutes per game. It's still the greatest single-season scoring season in NBA history. Next up, 1963, 44.8 points per game in the season. During the season, there were some difficulties. The Warriors were sold to a new ownership group led by San Francisco's Marty Simmons. Under new coach Bob Furyk, the team migrated to California and became the San Francisco Warriors. Tom Gola requested a trade because he felt homesick, whereas Paul Arizin preferred to retire and rather go away to his family. Outside of Chamberlain, the team's two best choices were gone, leaving Chamberlain with an extraordinary responsibility. Chamberlain had a 44.8 point and 24.3 rebounding average. Despite his accomplishment, the Warriors as a whole struggled. The squad lost 49 of its 80 games that season and failed to make the playoffs. Next up, during the 1964 NBA season, he averaged 36.8 points per game. Alex Hannum was hired as Chamberlain's third head coach in 3 years. He was joined by Nate Thurman, a great prospect center who went on to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Chamberlain had a strong season, averaged 36.9 points per game and 22 rebounds. For the 5th consecutive season, Chamberlain would lead the league in minutes per game. The Warriors advanced to the NBA Finals, where they would face the Boston Celtics. Chamberlain faced Bill Russell once again, but this time he was defeated. In the series, the Celtics defeated the Warriors 4-1. It was an incredible turnaround for a squad that went 31-49 a year ago. Next up, 34.7 points per game in the 1965 season. Chamberlain would not lead the NBA in minutes for the first time in his career. It would also be the first time that he has been dealt in the middle of a season. The Warriors had a bad start as a team and ran into financial difficulties. Chamberlain was dealt to the 76ers during the All-Star weekend for 3 players and cash considerations. Chamberlain averaged 34.7 points and 22.9 rebounds per game with this team. With Chamberlain on the team, the 76ers made a single playoff run. The club faced Russell and the Celtics once again after defeating Oscar Robertson and the Cincinnati Royals. The series lasted 7 games, but despite Chamberlain's 30 points and 32 rebounds, the Sixers were defeated once again. Next up, 33.5 points per game in the 1966 season. The 76ers finished the regular season with a 55-25 record, and Chamberlain won his second MVP award that year. Chamberlain led the league in scoring and rebounding, averaging 33.5 and 24.6 rebounds per game. He led the league in both categories and returned to the top of the league in minutes per game after a 1-year absence. During this season, Chamberlain was unstoppable. When Chamberlain retired in 1973, he was the league's all-time leading scorer. His career average of 30.1 points per game set a record that has since been broken by Michael Jordan. He appeared in almost 1,000 games, was named MVP 4 times, and set 40 league records. While some of his statistics are noteworthy, such as his 100-point game in 1962, his most astounding record may be that he never fouled out of an NBA game. Chamberlain currently ranks 7th in career points and is the all-time leading rebounder. He led the league in field goals when he retired, but now ranks 4th, having been passed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karl Malone, and LeBron James. In the end, he's a contender for the title of the greatest center in league history. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Top NBA, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video. We'll see you guys next time.